the world's safest house was beat by someone using 25 stairs. No other ingredients, no sword, no armor, nothing like that. So it's not really the world's safest house, is it? Hello, I'm MCPE and welcome back to the video. Today I'm doing something just a little bit different because I'm checking out the world's safest Minecraft house, or at least that's what the map calls itself, the Safest House 2.0 by Noahcraft Real. And the reason I'm talking about this map is because you've probably seen this somewhere else on YouTube. A YouTuber said like, wow, this is such a safe house, it's impossible to break into, it's so crazy. But I mean, the truth about it is it's not amazingly safe. It can be made safer, and I figured why not talk about exactly how you can do that so that maybe you can learn about security, not only for your Minecraft house and for your Minecraft valuables, but also about security in the real world, because it is a hugely fascinating concept once you dive into it, in my opinion. So hopefully you'll enjoy this video. You can like if you do like it, but let's dive straight into how this is the safest house, because obviously this is just a regular house in a field surrounded by not very much. However, if we put something in this little hopper over here, it will take us to a secret control room where, you know, some command blocks basically allow you to magically make some stuff happen. So you can build some walls around your house. Well, I guess this is the walls. You can build some lightning patches. You can build a huge obsidian wall around your house. You can make a lava trench around it. You can even have a wither on top of there, although we're going to assume you don't do that because most people choose not to do that in their survival worlds. And you can also have a river defense right here. So yeah, this is, you can turn all of these things on, as you see I just did right there, and then you can go back to your house and give it a check out. And long story short, now my house is absurdly safe looking. And this is, again, something you've no doubt seen somewhere on the internet before. Like, yeah, look at this is the safest Minecraft house. It's impossible to break into because we've got obsidian walls, and then we've got, you know, like a turret, sorry, we've got cobwebs around it. Then we've got magma. Then we've got a huge lava trench. Then we've got an exploding minecart with TNT, presumably going around the edges, although it's end crystal explosions, but still, huge explosions just circling around the edge. Then we've got water with soul sand underneath to kind of keep you on your toes. Then we've got another fence, and then we've got what I believe is meant to be a way to basically have lightning strike all the time. However, this is not the safest house, and let me explain why that is. I wanted to show just how amazingly easy it is to get from, you know, this side of the house to inside of it without, you know, any of these defenses being crazy. Because, you know, at first glance, it's like, oh my god, there's so much. There's lightning, bone, then there's a fence, then there's all the things we just mentioned. But let me show you that even in survival, no armor, no special privileges, not even having any food, just a few bits of wood will get me over there. Okay, so I've got myself 30 oakwood stairs. I think this might even be overkill. I've got the ladders from earlier, but let's assume I don't have those on me. We'll just throw those up here. So what can we do with 30 oakwood stairs to get over this impressively impossible defense? Well, let me show you actually. All we have to do is, because, you know, there is lightning here, we got to watch out for it. We're just going to slowly climb over that. We will probably still get hit by this because that's how the lightning magically works. We're just going to make a slow staircase to get ourselves over this fence. Except, oh, because it's a 3/4 block, it seems the lightning isn't going to strike me today. So we've avoided one of the defenses. Then this second defense, which is a iron gate fence, we can walk over just like this. The next defense, we're just literally going to swim over easily as this. And then we're going to make a very quickly little staircase going out over to here, just so we don't get hit by the TNT, out onto the island. Now we've crossed the lava trench, because, you know, it's a lava trench, but you know how Minecraft blocks work. And then we can just simply stack ourselves up for the rest, or we can make a staircase, whichever works best for you. And then look at that, I've made it over there. The world's safest house was beat by someone using 25 stairs. Probably could use a few less. It was a little bit of excess, with no other ingredients, no sword, no armor, nothing like that. So it's not really the world's safest house, is it? I mean, like, there's lots of ways to make safer houses, and this definitely did not meet the list. So how do we actually make the world's safest house? How do we actually make this safer? And I think the best way to start on explaining this one is to, first of all, actually grab my little Toycats toolkit so we can get some important stuff out. These are going to be the only things I'm going to be using to make this happen. But then also to start talking about exactly how security works in the real world. Because there's two types of security. You know, there's preventative security, stuff that's designed to stop someone who is actively trying to do something, i.e. break into your Minecraft house. And then there is, you know, the second type of security, which is basically making people want to rob anyone but you. So we'll talk about preventative security first of all, because obviously you want to make people not want to break into your Minecraft house, but then when they get there, you want to make sure they actually can't. And although having nice defenses like this, it seems like a great idea, you need to do a little bit more than just have, again, like defenses around the outsides. You need to do, you know, a few extra things. By the way, you can't even have lightning striking bone blocks on the outside. So even using commands, this is still horrifically unsafe because you need to have some proper way to guard your house yourself, some warning system, some alert system, and the best way would be to surround it with pressure plates in some way so that you can know when someone's out there, maybe make a noise set off, if there's anything like that, have some form of alarm, and then have these little holes in your wall on every single side. This allows you to have full vision of the outside world. You get to decide when you're seeing the outside world doesn't get to decide when it's seeing you, and then you can use this vision to shoot people, because these cobwebs, although they'll slow people down on the outside, you can shoot through cobwebs just fine. So it means you can see people because you see through the cobwebs, but people are just mostly going to see cobwebs on the other side. So that's a really strong advantage on the side of you, the defender, that you can shoot through something where people can barely see you. If they're not sure where you're shooting from, have two of these things, and now they're going to have real problems working out how they're going to shoot you. So yeah, there you go. Fun fact, now you can shoot through this, and it doesn't weaken your defenses because they already have to get through the cobwebs and get through obsidian, so having one less, it's kind of fine. And yeah, the extra vision, the extra security means that having a big wall of obsidian is actually less safe than having a wall of obsidian with a couple of gaps in it. And honestly, my next tip would probably be making it a little bit wider, in fact, because having one gap wide of obsidian, not too great. Having multiple spaces wide of obsidian, like this for instance, using the extra bits, that means that it's harder to break through if they have a diamond pickaxe, and it also means that if they do try to climb over it, there's more of a gap between them getting onto the wall and them getting to your house. It means you have that last defense on top of the wall where you can shoot them, whereas here, like, once they get to there, they're basically in a 1v1 for you, and that's not what you want because your house isn't safe at that point. So yeah, having actual ways for you to defend your house rather than just to sit inside and hope people can't get past the defenses, that's the first thing. You need to be your preventative security measure, but assuming, okay, that's not enough by itself, what else can we do? So my next security measure is going to be focusing on the underground of this, kind of house, because basically you can attack this from underground really easily, either by, mining through this part and doing that, but the more important way is, like, you can just mine under all of these defenses altogether, just start mining down here, and then realize that you've got, what is that, about 22 blocks until you mine up. Now you're inside the house. What you need to do to make this as hard as possible, as preventable as possible, again, if we're just doing basic defense like this, you just need to be like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have mine all the way down and have the lava go all the way down to bedrock. Make it really tricky for them if they want to get through here, because dealing with lava, especially flowing lava that's going to keep on flowing, is a really, really hard thing to do. So mine and make this trench go all the way down to bedrock, as low as you physically can, assuming you're in survival and you do have limitations. If you're in creative, I guess, that's not a thing, but still, do this all the way down on every single layer of the lava, so that if people want to mine through, like if we're trying to do so right now, we have to go through lava. We have to place a block through it, and even then, it can't be made out of wood or anything like that, and it's just a clever extra defense that you have to make some way through there. And if you want to get yourself, again, now we've covered ourselves in lava. See, you got to be really, really careful when there's a big trench of lava, whereas if you just have the larger trench be, by default on this, it's literally 2 blocks high. That will burn people if they fall into it, but you want to burn people if they try to get around it too. You need to make it almost inescapable, and that's something this hasn't done. Also, it's worth noting, in a similar vein, for people trying to, like, go up above this thing, you probably should have super high walls just like this, so make sure you have some form of wall, maybe even extending outwards. I'd recommend trying to do something a bit weird, like maybe having it go out an extra rim, just like this, above the stuff. So now they have to climb over something else as well, and it makes their day a little bit harder. Gives you another line of defense before they can get to you. And honestly, do this as high as you like. Have a really high wall up here, just to, again, make it harder for people to climb over, because over and under are really easy ways for people to get into any Minecraft house. So build up to the sky limit if you really want to. I'm not going to recommend that for reasons I'll say later, but build nice and high, not just 10 blocks high. Build as many as you think people are going to be willing to climb over to get to you, because if you have no other aerial security measures, that's probably a good idea. Even if you do have the turret with her, which is almost impossible to actually set up in survival, then still it means that going above that is going to be a real possibility. So make it so people have to go quite high, and then getting inside your house and actually climbing down the walls is a real challenge. That's something I totally recommend, and you need to get worked out. So these are the defenses I kind of ended up on. Again, try not to be too visible, because that's going to come in later. I just wanted to kind of make it so that, like, you lawn into the little holes in it. Like, oh, there's gaps, but you can't get through them. You still have to mine through something, which gives you plenty of time to be shot. You're doing something very visible that takes you quite some time. Or you try to climb up over the top of the thing, in which case you have quite a decent fall to get down. You can't necessarily do the same thing to get down as everyone else, but it's kind of handy. But then the final thing I want to do is up here, is make it so that people go way higher and then try to get themselves down, or they try to, do any other manner of thing to get in here. It's worth having an extra line of defense. Again, this isn't going to be perfect. In a world of elytras where people can fly in, you kind of have to be cautious of that and just keep in mind, okay, nothing you can do about that, but I will say it's worth having at least one set of dispensers in every direction, including up, by the way, just to make it so that if people try to build with wood, or they try to do anything where, like, they're there for quite some time, you can't quite get them, but you want to scare them off and let them know they're like, you mean business, I would say dispensers filled with fire charges is one of the best ways to kind kind of just make people back off. So we're going to put 16 in each one of them, just have fire charges on each side, because if you're not familiar, one of my favorite things about dispensers, make basic cannons with them by by just simply activating them, and you can do this in every direction. You can send 4 fire charges roaring up in semi-random directions. You can charge 1 in each direction, maybe 3 in each direction, depending on how many fire charges you're willing to make. It's not too hard an item to get your hands on. Then you can do 1 each direction, and kind of guarantee if someone's building out of wood, that wood thing's going to burn down. If someone, doing it in the mid-air, trying to do something a bit complex where they might be knocked off, they're going to be knocked off if they're doing anything directly in front of to get onto these balls, or they're doing something directly above of. Admittedly, there's a kind of danger space in the diagonals, but assuming most people are trying to overthink it and aren't, inherently aware you have this machine here, because you can very easily, hide it if you really want to, have a little dome above your house and kind of just have the dispensers kind of merge in there, then yeah, basically you can have this system hooked up, and this is an ugly version of it, but you can see how that's a thing you can do, and you can also control this all the way from your house, because all you have to do is have a bunch of these, hooked up. So we'll just quickly place a redstone torch here, and now we can control this entire thing from a lever all the way down here, or even lower if we want to. And as you can see, we've got a lever hooked up that allows us to fire fireballs in every direction. It also means if you've got forest nearby you want to slowly burn with the power of fire charges, you can do that very slowly, because inevitably what is going to happen is a birch forest will catch fire, but casualties, collateral damage, that's the word I'm looking for. Collateral damage is a thing that it's just going to happen, okay? It's just going to happen. So our final preventative security measure is just going to really be more of these lava trenches. If you want to make it that little bit harder and take a little bit more time for people to reach you, you just want to have more and more of these trenches around. If you know people are coming after you and you know they happen to know where you live already, then honestly, just make more and more trenches to the point where people go, oh my god, it's just too much effort, let's not bother going through there. So what you should do after this one is you should dig up another hole, place some lava there as well. Grab yourself some lava and place it down as far as you humanly can. So here we have another huge lava lake. As you can see, it's a lake, it's filled with lava. It means that people have to go through a lot more effort to get from here to over there. In this case, being at surface level makes it more, at risk from water. But I mean, at least this way they're scared, they can physically see the amount of it, and you could go even further if you wanted to. Also, kind of a key thing, a thing that's always forgotten, is the fact that we have gone all the way down to bedrock with this one. So no matter how, we have gone all the way down to bedrock, as you can see. If you go low enough, you will eventually find bedrock all the way down there. I believe that's meant to be bedrock at least. And also, a clever thing's been done is we've gone underneath the rest of the map as well. You can see, going through some of these walls, we've got a lot of lava hidden through there as well. So if you want to go underneath this lava, it's going to be a real challenge. The truth is, you can't ever stop someone who wants to go somewhere getting into your house, because you need to get in and out of there as well. They can always use your methods eventually. You can just make it easier or harder for them. And if you want to make it harder for someone to get into your house, which is what the whole point of a safe house is, right? Let's talk about how you can actually do that beyond just crazy safe looking measures, because having a safe looking house actually makes your house less safe in some ways. So honestly, there are 2 ways you can, make yourself safer. There's, like I said, preventative security measures, making it so someone who tries to rob your house has a harder time. And the second way is making it so someone who wants to rob a place or wants to grief someone doesn't grief you. You want to make sure they grief anyone but you. And this exact same logic is used in the real world. This is the same reason why, places get robbed. In the real world, it happens all the time. However, convenience stores get robbed and not banks. Banks make you believe they're the safest place in the world so that you'll rob a convenience store rather than a bank. Fun fact, by the way, if you do rob a bank, they're designed just to give you a note with the money. Like, if you give them a strongly worded note, they still have to give you the money, because they're just, it's part of their policy. They have a certain amount of money they will give you. If you want to rob a bank, you could do that. However, assuming that's not your plan to rob a bank, let's talk about how you can use the exact same principle of making your safe seem safe by kind of obscurance, by making it so people want to rob anyone but you. And there's a few ways you can do this one, actually. So the easiest part of being obscure is to construct really natural terrain around your base, because, having something like this, it draws people around from every direction. Let me show you what the base looks like from this angle in any, huge number of blocks away. Let's say we're 300 blocks away. We don't even know there's a base in the area, which is kind of chilling, because we're in the swamp biome checking it out, and we're like, wait a minute, what's that huge obsidian cube surrounded by orange? What is that thing? Oh, wait, you've given away your game. You've shown yourself off, and now people know they can go and raid you. And like I've said, there's no easy way to guarantee everyone can't get you. especially if you're not online, then it just makes it so much easier. So what you do instead is you try to hide yourself in plain sight. So I've done a really bad job just kind of like mashing these chunks in here, but obviously if you're just making stuff by hand or you're copying stuff by hand, you can do a much better job of fitting into the scenery, so that if someone's just over here for a village or for whatever reason, they're like, oh, there's a nice mountain over there, don't really want to climb it, it's a bit steep and like there's only swamp trees up there, really boring looking biome. Like people look at it, they see something boring, they don't think about it. This is the exact same way that the Wizarding World in Harry Potter is hidden from the regular world, so boom, Harry Potter tip for you right there. Because they just make it boring for people to go and find. Like, oh, this magical device that can teleport you across the world, a portkey, I believe it's called. Those things, they're just hidden as litter, so you think like, oh, who's going to pick up litter? No one's going to pick up litter. No one's going to try and raid the base because they don't know there's a base because they're looking for that instead. But if all of that fails, if you know people are actively looking for you and they're like, okay, we're going to find his house no matter what, and they would be willing to climb through a boring biome for you, there's one last, final, really important tip. So if you're 100% convinced someone's coming after you, they vaguely know what your base looks like or who you are, and they really want to get you, then the best thing to do is to just honestly make a house that people can get to, make it a real challenge, make people feel like they have to work for it. Like in our case, we have an exact copy of our base that is going to be really, really visible. People are going to see this and they're going to see the challenge emanating off it because it's made in a desert very deliberately. As you can see, it's an exact copy roughly of our base, a little bit smaller version of it, but it looks like a challenge. People are going to see that as a challenge, and people are going to want to take my stuff. So they're going to try their hardest, they're going to go get their stuff, they're going to try and summit the base, they're going to try and get inside of it, and although there's a little bit of a hole in the side, we'll ignore that for now. They're going to try and get past what might even be you in there sometimes, or maybe someone you can look after, and they're going to think, aha, we got into Toy Cat's base. You can tell it's his base because he put so much work into it. Either we're going to grief it, we're going to blow it up a little bit, or we're going to take his stuff, and then they're going to try and take your valuables, and they're going to find that, oh, you had diamonds, and they're going to get some of your diamonds, and 32 diamonds might be a lot, and all of your other stuff, which they might decide to take or might not. But here's the really clever bit about this whole thing. This isn't your base, of course. This is just the decoy, because your base is hidden. This is your base hidden in plain. It's basically the idea is to hide this one in plain sight, so people know they can go after it, and they will get to it eventually. But then your actual stuff is hidden away somewhere where people, again, they're just gonna look past it because they're thinking that can't be the base. That's just a bunch of hills. And then your actual stuff hidden behind the same mechanics, every other safety mechanic we have, is still going to be there. You're going to be in your base trying to attack people, staying crouched hopefully so they can't find you, but you're going to be there, keeping it safe. You're going to be having all these extra security measures if they somehow do find it, but most people will never even know your base isn't the one that they're raiding on a constant basis, the one they're constantly blowing up and you have to keep going and constantly repairing, because your rare actual stuff, your actual diamond blocks, your diamond armor, your wither skulls, your beacons, all your actual rare stuff is hidden in this base over here, and that is the real genius. That's the real, clever things that, banks do. They just give you some money and say, okay, there you go. They make a small sacrifice to hide their great sum. Again, I think it's a clever thing. And again, to go back to the Harry Potter world, in case that's not enough for you, because I read all the books, because reasons, I feel like every kid's done that, right? But, I've read all the books and can confirm for you that every single major secret is hidden in the same way. The Black family household, for instance, it's, a terrace house that pops out from two other houses, hidden right in plain sight in the heart of London. All these different things, you can hide them in the middle of where people least expect it. It's best to be somewhere people don't expect as well. But yeah, the best security measure is just by encouraging people to attack someone else. And if you can't encourage them to attack someone else, encourage them to attack another version of you, so that your main version is kept secure. So that is how you actually have safety and security in the world. Pro tip, if we're going to drag this back to the real world for a bit, if you want to, have a secure house, most of what you need to do is just encourage people, go rob the people next to me instead, you just have to have, some basic security up so people think, it's going to be hard to rob them, I'll be on camera or something, oh, wait a minute, go next door, and there's no such thing there. This is how a lot of, bad security works. If you want to, on an individual level, improve security, all you have to do is have enough of a deterrent so people go somewhere else, because there's going to be people who want to rob something, but they usually rob convenience stores, and if they do rob a bank, they'll only get a small portion of the overall take. They won't get all of the bank's money, and that's because of clever, distraction and throwing people to other targets. And it's the same thing with cars, actually. Cars are secured in a similar way. Anyway, fun fact about security. Hopefully that helps you feel more or less secure about yourself and the world. With that said, I hope you'll enjoy this video. Like if you liked it, share if you really liked it, subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day. Well, not like this one actually at all, but every single day on my channel. And if you subscribe with notifications turned on, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching, Let me know if you want to see some more security fun stuff, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.